everybody. Happy Friday. I hope you're having a great day. It's been an emotional day. I woke up early, as per usual these days, though I did get my lab results back yesterday, and my thyroid is off in the opposite direction of where it's always been off. So that could explain the Energizer Bunny Dory version that we've got going on. I thought it might be a little bit of hypomania, but maybe it's the thyroid that's got me going, woo! Waking up early and staying up late and doing 500 million things a day. And it's been fun to have all this extra energy. I'm not used to having all this energy and being able to do this much. So it's been fun. I'm going to do a lot more crafting than I normally get to do. And speaking of crafting, I decided to organize some craft bins today, and I have a whole bunch of tubs like this. And both when cleaning up, I had shoved a bunch of stuff, and then my friend came over and helped, and she shoved a bunch of stuff, and so nothing was organized, and it was all just a mess. And so I'm still in the really messier phase of the organizational process. Like, I'm seeing that good is coming from it. I have, 2 tubs that are all just regular Christmas stuff. And then I have 2 tubs that are all just pink Christmas stuff. And then I have, an entire tub like this full of envelopes, like recycling, like junk mail envelopes. Going to recycle and use in my junk journals, and that's not even all of my envelopes. Yeah, I could fit more in there. So, if you're a junk journaler or a journaler and you want some extra envelopes, let me know. I can hook you up. Holy moly, I've got a lot. And I found this journal that I had been working on a couple of years ago, and here I am avoiding the subject, right? Because I said it had been an emotional day and I was going to talk about it. And instead, I'm talking about crafting. So this is a fun journal that I had started with some hydrangea papers that are gorgeous. And it's got like magnetized pockets and things, which is fun. But so I'm working out late tonight. It's been busy. I got up this morning and I wasn't really ready to be up, but I couldn't get back to sleep. So I got up and did some stuff. And then I did was it today or yesterday? I don't know. The days are all blurring together. That's what happens when you sleep from like 12 to 5 every day. And then I lose my train of thought. Anyway, I went to upload some craft videos and discovered that the ones that I had been making with my camera arm on the shelf in front of me, like on the table instead of beside me, because I put it so it would be up higher. Well, where I was working making my stuff didn't end up in the actual view of the video. So you see like the top of what I'm doing and a bunch of other stuff that's just on my table, and you don't actually see most of the work. So anyway, I had to delete several videos that I was going to upload. That was kind of a bummer, but it is what it is. But I did a couple more videos today. I had our second Friday grief call with the grief counselor that my business healer hired to work with her clients. And, I've been doing a lot of crafting and doing my daily exercise, and I really have not been emotional the last week or so. And I was noticing that before the grief call. I was like, wow, I really haven't been getting emotional. I haven't been crying much. And I was thinking, oh, okay, this is good. Then we get on the call. Dusty starts talking about boundaries and holidays, and I just start crying. I'm just like, oh, okay. And, talking about how like setting boundaries as far as, if something is too much for you, then you say, I'm not going to be there. Or, and for me, it was kind of the opposite. It was like reaching out and asking people, hey, can I spend time with you? Can we schedule something on my birthday or on Christmas or on New Year's Eve? Because, those were days that, I was used to spending the time with my mom. And she mentioned Easter, and I was like, what am I doing for Easter this year? Like, it's been just my mom and I for Easter for the last several years. I don't know. On Easter specifically. And so just missing her, but also like recognizing that I've made a lot of progress in where I am now compared to where I was when she died, right away when she died, and that it's going to take time, and there's going to be days like this, and there are going to be days that I don't cry, and it's all okay. Dusty was telling me that my workout videos were inspiring her to get up and get out and exercise. And I was like, let's move more in 2024. Let's start a movement. Who's joining my movement, right? And then after that call, like I had cried on the call, and I got off the call, and I just did not feel good. And it was like I was tired, but I didn't feel like I would be able to go back to sleep and take a nap. And I had a couple of hours before I needed to tutor, but was like I wanted to craft, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. And finally I was like, I'm going to make some master boards because I want to tear paper. Like, if you have not explored the therapeutic benefits of collage, I highly recommend it. And so just getting absorbed in tearing up paper and then like gluing it down and turning it into something beautiful. And, I got out some watercolors and was putting that on there and just really enjoying that. And just kind of listening to what felt like it would be a good thing to do and what felt like it would help me with those emotions that were surfacing, that were uncomfortable and didn't feel good. And, I think as humans, we tend to try to ignore those emotions that don't feel good, and we try to stuff them down. And I know from experience that stuffing them down turns into this. So it's not a good idea. And doing a very light workout today, I will say. But when we were on the grief counseling call, and Dusty was saying how motivational my videos were and how it was motivating her to get up and move. And I said that it feels like doing these daily workout videos, thank you, Hallie, is a really, really good way to honor my mom's memory. Because for most of my life, she'd be like, I love you no matter what, but I want you to be healthier and I want you to take better care of yourself. And so, like, that's one way that I'm honoring her memory, is committing to taking better care of me and showing up for me, even on days when, like today, it's been a long day and I didn't get much sleep last night and I'm emotional. And I'm like, no, I said I would show up, and I'm showing up. And so, it may be a gentler workout than I do some days, and it may be shorter than I do some days, but I'm here and I'm showing up for me, because that's one way that I can honor my mom's memory, is by loving me the way that she loved me. So, it's been a bit of a roller coaster today. So, just kind of taking what comes and doing the best I can with what I've got. And as my business coach, business healer likes to say, work on being 1% better than you were the day before. It's not about competing with somebody else. It's not about like running the marathon or eating the elephant only one bite. It's about being just a little bit better, like committing to one improvement, committing to one thing that you're going to get a little bit better at each day. So that, because that's what adds up to the big wins, is when we commit to taking those small steps daily. And so this is my small step daily. And got the lab results yesterday, I think it was, that I saw them, that my thyroid is actually like hyperthyroid at the moment, which is probably part of the not sleeping. But like, this is the first time I think that we've had that. I mean, I'm assuming, we haven't talked to my doctor yet, but I'm assuming we'll be lowering my thyroid medication. And this is like the first time that we'll be lowering my thyroid medication in over a decade. We've changed it a couple of times and increased it, but I can't remember the last time we actually had to lower it. And I know that the huge change in my blood sugar and improving that blood sugar is one of the things that has really, really helped, is helping my thyroid to function. And I also think that there's a medication. So my doctor told me that I may have mentioned this on a previous video, but last summer, my doctor was looking at my labs and she said, okay, so you don't have polycystic ovarian syndrome because you have too much testosterone like most people. You have polycystic ovarian syndrome because your body doesn't recognize its own insulin and doesn't know what to do with it. And so, and I mean, I was diagnosed with that at 18, and here I was at 42 being told this is why you have it. And the medication that she put me on to help me recognize my insulin and my body recognizes insulin and function better, which has played a role in lowering my blood sugar, I think is also helping my thyroid. And, it just makes me think, like, why didn't any of my other doctors notice that and say, hey, your body's not recognizing its insulin. That's why this isn't functioning right. It just gets so frustrating when you're like, this has been an issue for 24 plus years now. And I'm just now finding out why. It is what it is. And, finding a doctor who's like, oh yeah, we need to do this to make it work better. Like, oh, thanks. It'd be nice if I'd found that out at 18 or 20 or 25 or 30 or 35, but I guess 42 is better than 82. So, so yeah, just like I said, taking better care of my health, showing up for myself, and doing what I need to do, both to take care of my body physically and get healthier and stronger, and also taking care of my emotional self and doing what, throwing myself into the craft projects because that's what helps me feel better. Or, taking the time to just sit and cry when that's what I need to do. I am somebody who I've been saying for decades that it takes a strong woman to cry in public. And I, since my mom died, the only time that I have held back tears is if I'm on a tutoring call with a student, with a child, and the tears start coming up. I'm like, okay, press pause. When the session is over, we can do that. We're not going to do this in front of, my student. But other than that, if the tears show up, I let them flow, because they're here for a reason. And I think our society really is messed up in the way that it kind of expects us not to feel our emotions and not to express our emotions. And you wonder why so many people have mental health issues? It's because our society is like, no, don't feel that. No, you shouldn't feel that. No, you shouldn't cry about that. You shouldn't be. And so I think it's really important to really honor ourselves in all those little ways, because it's those little ways that add up to the changes that we're working on. Yeah, I know. It's crazy, Sally, how but even even when you find a doctor who's like, yeah, we'll help you with this, it's like, here, take drugs. It's not, oh, well, what are you eating? How can we adjust this? How can we adjust this? How, what can we do? Like, no, it's take pharmaceutical drugs. um yeah, I know. Um it's really frustrating, especially as much as people pay for healthcare in our country. And, so often it's the healthcare that we're provided is not the healthcare that we need. I know that being on Medicaid, I, a couple of years ago, started getting acupuncture, and it made a huge difference for my health, like my pain, my fibromyalgia pain, back pain, all of it got so much better. And when I was able to go to acupuncture and the chiropractor regularly, like, I was doing great. And I went, oh gosh, 2 years, I think, between injections. And then I had to get an injection again and I was like, wow, I was really impressed. I, thought maybe I'd healed it. And I said this to my acupuncturist, and she's like, yeah, well, if you've been able to afford to continue your acupuncture and your chiropractic care on a regular basis as often as you need it, you probably wouldn't have had to go get that injection. Medicaid won't pay for acupuncture. Medicaid won't pay for the chiropractor if you're over 18, but they'll pay for you to go get the steroids injected into your spine. That they'll pay for, and I had made a post about having it done, and somebody comes on and they're like, that's not going to make the change. You need to change your life and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, you don't know me. You have no idea. Like, anybody who knows me knows that this is like the last resort is getting the injection, right? And yeah, bullshit. Agreed. So and it was just interesting how she's like attacking me, telling me that that's not going to change things. And I was like, like, I know that acupuncture and chiropractic care and, moving my body more and all of those things, having a membership to a gym where I can work out in a pool. Those are all things that are much better for my back than going and getting the injections in my spine. But Medicaid won't pay for any of those. They will pay for the injections in the spine, which helped tremendously. I was able to, walk again. And I was so excited because I had gotten to where I wasn't even getting my trigger point injections regularly. And I've gone longer than last time I had to go in at like 6 weeks. And you have to wait at least 6 weeks. And it's probably been 9, between 10 and 12 weeks since I had my last trigger point injections. And I am not needing them. Although my back has been unhappy this week, but I know that it's because I'm not getting enough sleep. And so that, definitely affects the pain. Although this is very helpful. This is helping. And so does this. Oh, the stretch feels so good on the low back. So just going to do some stretching. I'd love to hear from those of you who are watching. How are you doing this evening? You enjoying a relaxing Friday evening at home? I was thinking about it earlier. I was like, I saw something pop up and I was like, such and such going on at the Zach. Oh, that's right. It's Friday night. It's first Friday. Yeah, some people will go out on Friday nights. Me, I stay home and craft, go live on YouTube with a workout. That's my Friday night. Woo! Yeah. So I'd love to know what you're doing with your Friday night. Are you get some more water. I was talking to a friend. She was like, oh, I thought you were just going live on Facebook. I didn't realize you had a YouTube channel too. She goes, can you help me? Because I'm not really sure. I know that I should know how all of that works because I've been alive the whole time it's existed, but I just don't. It just kind of struck me as funny the way she said it. And so I sent her the link. So in case you thought I only go live on Facebook, I'm actually live on YouTube at the same time. And there are videos that go on my YouTube that don't go on my Facebook. So like if you want to see how I made this gorgeous little journal insert here with, oops, that helps if you hold it up so the camera can see it. Window, and this opens up. So I've got videos of making this over on my YouTube channel. So if you're not already subscribed and you need the link, please comment YouTube in the comments and I will send that link over to you when I'm done with my live video. And then this has a pocket, has a tag in it. And then this one opens up and there's another pocket here and a little notepad. And you can pull that out. So, oh, and there's stuff on the back too. So I love my crafting stuff. I have so much fun with it. And I've been making videos. I've been watching the YouTube videos of other people doing their journaling stuff. And it's been really comforting in as far as like helping me kind of fill that void left by losing my mom, because I'm used to being on the phone with her several times a day and over at her place several times a week, and and there's just kind of all that extra time that I'm not spending with her. And so for the first 6-8 weeks, I spent a lot of time watching my crafty YouTube people who I follow on YouTube, and felt like, I'm hanging out with them and they're like entertaining me. And it's like they don't realize it, but we're best friends now because I know all about their life and I've watched them do all these craft projects, and I talk back to them sometimes. I do know that they can't hear me, but I'll be like, no, use that one, or you told us to remind you wanted to do it that way. But so filled a lot of that time with watching videos where people were talking about their life and doing their craft videos. And so now I'm doing my craft videos and talking about my life. So if that interests you, let me know. Type YouTube in the comments and I'll drop that link for you so you can go over and subscribe. I'm up to 45 subscribers, I believe. And when we get to 50, I'm doing a drawing, giving away one of my handmade creations. So right now I'm working on stuff for a purple journal, and I made some really gorgeous stuff today that is going to go in the journal. So it's always fun to make pretty stuff with my hands. And it's actually like scientifically documented that when you are using both of your hands to do something like knitting and crocheting and baking, and, and like, so this crafting, it's rewiring your brain. And if you're using both hands, then it's got both sides of your brain activated and stuff. And so there's power in that. And, it sure is healing for me to create things when I'm, struggling, whether it's grieving over my mom or just, stress and daily life. I worked at a call center for a while, and I wanted to make some cotton covers for the headphones, and I, saw people that had some, and I was like, oh, and so I'm looking for a knitting pattern, and I can't find a knitting pattern, but I can find a crochet pattern. Well, I knew how to knit. I didn't know how to crochet yet. So I taught myself how to crochet. And then after crocheting some of those, I was like, oh, this is cool because it doesn't hurt my shoulder like knitting does. And I, working in the call center, I could crochet between calls and during calls. And it, when you're talking to idiots who think they know more than you, and you're like, well, why are we on the phone if you know more about the technical situation than I do? you know. um, and they're like, no, that's not the problem. I'm not doing that. And you're like, well, I mean, I thought you wanted to fix it, but if you just want to sit here and be a jerk, I guess that's your choice. Let me just crochet my way through this to keep me calm so I don't like say what I want to say to you. I actually had a supervisor say to me at one point, he goes, Dory, I think the problem is you're a lot smarter than a lot of the people that you talk to, and that frustrates you. And I was like, yeah, you kind of just summed up my life in one sentence there, Alex. Oh, and every time I saw my psychiatrist, she's like, that job is not good for you. You need to leave. And then I left that job for a teaching position that was also not good for me. I was thinking about that earlier. How yeah, I won't go into it, but it was a rough time. I'm in a better place now, all things considered. My mental health is better, even though I just lost my mom. I'm in a better place than I used to be because at that point in my life, I was spending just about every penny I had on fabric when I was teaching my last year teaching in the classroom because I was so depressed. I needed those dopamine hits. And I was like, order more fabric, order more fabric, order more fabric. Don't know how to fix my life, but I can order more fabric. So, and now, well, going through grieving my mom and actually having this hypomanic episode, I'm like, I'm not going out and spending money that I need to save for rent, and I'm not going out and spending it on craft supplies or whatever else I could be spending it on. I'm saving it to pay my bills. So I'm, on top of it, even though that bipolar hypomanic part of my brain is like, oh, look at this, go buy this. And I'm like, no, we're not doing that. That doesn't suit our goals. So anyway, I think I am going to call it a night. Go put my feet up and relax for a little bit and then head to bed here before much longer. So I hope you do something today that sets your soul on fire and brings you joy and that you follow your bliss. And I hope to see you again next time. Have a great night.